you're streaming and stuff. I was.
Sorry, Josh, I'll just cut you off mid-sentence, shall I?
No worse.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Sorry, bear with. I'm all legs akimbo over here. How you doing? What's going on? Right, I'm going to start again. Hi, everyone. My name's Ian, and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. With me this week is Jason.
Hello.
And Josh.
What it is.
What it is. What is it? I don't know. Who knows?
What it do? What it be?
We have apologies received this week from Keith because he's got a relative in town, and apparently they went out and were all over the town. And Wesley, who mysteriously said 15 minutes ago that he wasn't going to be able to make it today. And I, for one, am bereft because I was looking forward to seeing the swoosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a staple. It's a staple, absolutely.
It's not a Sunday. It's not a Sunday without the swoosh.
It's not a Sunday without the swoosh. So quite frankly, today isn't Sunday.
Do you have work stuff or?
I don't know. Didn't explain. For all I know, he's on a promise. Or he's got a court date. I don't know. Who knows? But we have in chat, we have Pete, TC Wallets, morning, Interglobal, good morning. And so far, no one else has raised their head, so I'm sure they're all coming too. How's it been, guys? What's been happening in Josh and Jason world in Florida, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's getting warm.
Jason, you've had some action. You've had a lot going on.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that afterwards. Hey, Mike's here. Mike Inguigiato. There we go. It's the only time I'm going to attempt to say that. Now, I'm glad Mike is here because
I think
Mike,
you did pretty good.
I think I did pretty good. Yeah, Mike, bless him, has probably got the patience of a saint with my pronunciation of most surnames, especially his. But Mike is here, and Mike, regular viewers might know Mike as Mikkel on EPAC as well. So if I refer to you as Mikkel during the course of this podcast, then that's what I will do. Mike actually shared the inspiration for a lot of this today's episode, what we're going to talk about, because Mike does a really, really good blog. Mike, feel free to pimp a link into the. I see, Mike. You said that last time. Inquijato. Good. Right. Here's the thing, Mike. It disappears from comments. Once the comments are gone, I can't go back and look at them afterwards. So I think there's a way to have them stay on the feed, but I don't think I can look at them afterwards. Don't know. Anyone with StreamYard experience, hit me up. Now, StreamYard are starting to try and get me to promote them a little bit, and I keep getting these things that say, share your referral link. Because if I share my referral link, like I just did in the chat, not only do you get $10 discount, we get a little kickback as well. Nice. And let me tell you, this shit ain't free.
My goodness. Goodness, no.
Free to you guys, but anyway, so here we go. But it's for the love. It's for the love. From here to here.
Absolutely.
Right. It's a Lazy River episode, which it feels a bit weird with Keith not being on, because Lazy River was kind of Keith's thing. So what I mean by that is we just kind of let the conversation go, and we might talk about other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Other than the things. So first of all, I want to talk about something else. Thunderbolts is coming out next weekend. Who's going to see it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
It looks good. I mean, that latest trailer's a bit dark. Lots of people getting shadowed by that evil guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Void.
Supposed to be Sentry.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
The Sentry has a alternate personality called the Void.
That's right.
Supreme, even more powerful than the Sentry is in his regular form, and the Void is cryptic and dark and just ends people without thought, just fast.
Okay, we all know someone in the hobby like that. So yeah, randomly out of nothing. So yeah, I think you've got the dark version of Ian today. No, I listen. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'll get to go and see it in the cinema, in all honesty, because my daughter's kind of not quite there in terms of seeing Marvel movies, and
Right.
it's difficult to find the time to go on your own. But next weekend I might be going to a cinema.
Catch it then.
And Thunderbolts will be playing in the next screen over because I'll be watching the Minecraft movie with my 9-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
She's been jonesing to see it for weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm up for that.
A lot of like in the crossovers, you know, how Marvel and DC, there's so many of these copied characters. When they got split up, everyone was like, all right, well, I'll figure out my own version. So Century's pretty much like Marvel's version of Superman. Very much so.
Right.
Okay. And so people who are Superman fans but are mostly Marvel guys, now they finally get, you know,
okay,
in the MCU, they finally get a character that's like their Superman. It's what it is. That's what Century is.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I still haven't seen the latest Captain America: Brave New World movie, but I think that's coming on to Disney Plus very soon. So
it should be. Yeah.
Maybe I'll catch up. Yeah, I mean, Pete, finally a movie that looks good. It does look good, and I rewatched Falcon and Winter Soldier in prep for it because I just wanted to get a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Falcon
which
and
I
Winter
like.
Soldier, yeah, I mean, it's when I watched it, I was like, But watching it again, it's better than I remember giving it original credit for. So
yeah, it's got some good action and some good spy stuff.
Yeah, and I rewatched Hawkeye as well for a bit of Yelena Florence Pugh, and I should probably watch Ant-Man 2 just to re-up myself on Ghost.
Now, Jason, you liked Brave New World? You said it was.
No, I didn't. I didn't care for it.
No, okay.
Okay. No, I didn't care for it.
Did you storm into the foyer and demand your money back?
No. I just no.
I know people who've done that. It's like,
I mean, it's not the theater's fault if the movie's not good.
Right.
Yeah.
You picked your meal.
Yeah. So no, I didn't. That's the last movie I think I've seen in the theater this year. But I am, after this podcast, I am going to go see. I believe I'm going to go see Sinners, which was directed by Ryan Coogler.
Oh, that looks good.
I've heard great things about it. Apparently it's fantastic. So not just like it's like on a good film level, like it's
yeah. No, he did, as you. I think. Sorry, I cut you off. Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, of course. Michael B. Jordan plays twin brothers.
Yep.
So he's pulling double duties in this.
And Haley Steinfeld, who was Kate Bishop, is in this as well. So there's another Marvel connection there. So.
Wow. Okay. But it'd be really off-putting if you went in there and expecting something, and the Marvel Studios thing came up at the beginning, and then they were like, "Nah, just kidding."
Well, this is, if anybody wants to see the Sinners, just there are, I believe 2 post-credit scenes.
Okay.
So that another little Marvel type deal.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to it. There's some good films coming up. Most of this stuff I'll probably end up seeing on the plane, on a ridiculous screen. Although the planes are getting better with stuff like that when I come over in the summer. Speaking of which, anyone watching, have a hookup at the Customs and Border agency. Hit me up, because my ESTA, my travel waiver for coming to the United States, still hasn't been approved a week after applying for it online, which is really unusual because most of the time it's within 72 hours, they say. My wife and daughter's was approved within a day. Mine is still pending. Not at all.
They probably watched the show. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't know about that. No, they've probably seen my Twitter. But yeah, no, it's a bit weird, really. So I've been on the phone to them saying nothing we can do. I've emailed them saying nothing we can do. Just gotta wait. I said, what if I was traveling next week? And they go, well, in that case, you get in touch with us. And I'm like, okay, fine. But if for some reason that process or system doesn't approve you, you have to then apply for a different type of visa, which means you have to go to the American embassy in person in London, and it takes longer. So leaving it sort of 8 to 10 days out from when I fly is a bit squeaky bum. Granted, I'm not flying until the end of July, so I'm probably being a little bit oversensitive about it. But I've been planning this trip for a long time.
Yeah, being proactive.
It was booked and paid for. You know,
I mean,
so
you just want your docs. You just want your, that's all.
Anyway, so they're ghosting me, and we'll come on to the subject of ghosting. In a minute. You know what? Let's start with that. Seeing as I've
sure, I've
gone there. So I didn't tell Grizz that I was going to do this, but Grizz posted something on Grizz Hunter. His name is. I don't know if Grizz is his real first name. I can't remember what his PayPal said when I sent him some dosh once, or maybe he sent me some dosh. I can't remember. Anyway, we've done a deal, but he put a post on group that basically said. This is a post for all you ghosters. You know, you people that are eager to get cards other members have that you want, letting us spend time pulling them out, negotiate deals, then ghost or simply go silent before or even during negotiations begin. You've had this happen, I'm sure, guys.
Oh, God. Countless times.
Some form or fashion, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a...
Sorry, carry on.
There was a day where I, at first when you're first to get started in the hobby or even get started, maybe if you've been in the hobby, but you haven't bought, sold, and trade with other people, you're just getting stuff yourself as you can. When you start doing deals and things like this happen, it's easy to take it personal. There are a ton of valid reasons that, that happen. Things happen. Life happens. Unforeseen stuff. Yeah. But, it's like about how much you care about the hobby. It's kind of like you want to protect the essence of a good deal when it comes to Marvel cards if you care about this stuff. And there's a line where, just like any other kind of business, I'm going to make sure no matter what happens to me, there's contingency plans to make sure information's gotten out and my deals or any business I have hanging is handled somehow. And that's just a good part of like life stuff, like CYA. Have your stuff kind of covered in a check, double check. And so when you're doing some of these deals on rare cards, some people are they've put out a ton of effort to try to acquire the card. They're being nice about trying to give you time in whatever it is. And then when you just drop off the face of the earth like that, assuming if it's you realize you couldn't spend the money, or some of these other things, just do the right thing. Just these people are not going to be mad. They'll respond. Hey, listen, I understand it. You want to continue to break bread and have good relationships with people. And that's just not a good move. It's just not a good move or a good look. And it is avoidable.
We've got Johnny Cock is in the chat. Good morning. Please don't. That's probably his actual name. So we have Grizz goes on. Not all deals are right for both parties. I get that, and I've only griped by post about this one other time. But you all need to understand that when community members are actively trying to help others with needs, and they're asked to either hold cards until payday or a variety of other reasons, and I've heard a lot of excuses, only to realise weeks later that they've utterly wasted their time. It makes us not want to dedicate our time going forward. We're under no obligation to share our products, but I'm going to say cards, or enlist hobby friends to help in your search. I've been clear about my goals in this community, and that goal is to help every single person I can find every single card that I have the ability to help them find. That's a long sentence. Whether within my inventory or by reaching out to others. But I'm encountering a lot of BS, and it's quite discouraging, making me understand why more of the whales in our groups don't bother to try to help. Please don't ask for help finding cards you either can't afford or have no intentions of following through, whether purchase or trade. Let those with that ability and desire help others get sick of it and retire. Sure, legitimate reasons have to back out pop up, but it's respectful to let the other party know. If I'm offended anyone by this post, well, maybe you're one of them. So now, obviously, he's he's vexed, and I don't know the circumstances behind that. But I mean, listen, I've had occasions where I've been very very close to losing my shit, when someone has messaged and then doesn't reply, or one of the bugbears for me is when there's a payment plan and you agreed it and then it starts drifting.
Yeah,
because you kind of like, I mean, it's only happened a couple of times, but it does occasionally happen. But I think it's communication. It goes back to the episode we did about trading off eBay. It's just keep the comm channels open with people. So there's one person in chat at the moment. I realise I'm probably guilty of this. It just occurred to me that I asked Pete about some cards a couple of months back, and I've literally just remembered it right now. So sometimes people are just fucking idiots and they forget stuff, and life just gets in the way. So Pete, I will come back to you immediately after we finish recording here. And apologies if you think that I was ghosting you then, but it's really easy to do. By virtue, you might have loads of stuff popping up in your chat, or I'm often forgetful to get back to people because I read my messages. Like 6:30 a.m. through one eye without my glasses on, and then I get up, and then I have coffee, and then I'll go to work, and by then it would have gone out of my brain completely because I was in when I read it, and it's only later in the day or a day or two later that I realised that because people in America message me overnight my time quite often. So I'm not saying that's an excuse for ghosting someone. I'm just saying that it's humans are not a perfect creation.
Oh no, you've got a family with all the moving parts that go along with that, the job, and so people's schedules get crazy. But just if you're proactive on it, if you really make sure that there's like a pending file in your mind where you're never going to be comfortable unless you get those cleared out. That's just how I am. Just try to get back. Send some sort of correspondence. No one's going to be upset with you if even if it's just you overspent before and didn't realize. It happens. That doesn't make you a bad guy. We could still work this out. But disappearing, you're going to lose contacts and lose good resources in the hobby that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually gone the other way so far this year. I say, I know I said humans, we're not perfect creatures, but I present to you Sydney Sweeney. Anyway, hey, Alan Beauchamp is in the chat. You might remember him from episode Character Collectors 101. It was in the 180s, 190s. He came on with Roll With Them. And we did a Character Collectors 101. Good dude. And he does drive a truck, and he collects Bishop.
Yep.
And he's got the most amazing Marvel Allure sketch collection as well.
He's the one that's been posting all the sketches. It's very impressive.
Badass collection that is. So welcome. Welcome. That was, I have to say, Pete, that was a good show. I enjoyed that. I've been meaning to do part 2 with them both, but we for various reasons it never came off. Maybe we will, but I think the character collecting topic is quite well mined on quite a lot of content these days. But yeah, and the other thing is, I've realised I've overspent, but I've committed to something with someone. So I've actually, to my detriment, decided to get into a bit of debt just to commit to a deal, rather than back out on something. Now maybe I'm an idiot for doing that, but I don't like messing other people around, especially when you're talking like 100, 200, 300 bucks.
Right. Your reputation means a lot in a small hobby, in a small group.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
Jason, you ever had any ghost issues? Any hauntings?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. I mean, nothing quite on some of the like what was being referred to in the Facebook post. I have had people reach out to me and say they had a card for me, and I said, well, and I didn't ask for it. They just said, hey, I've got this, and I said, well, I'm not in a position to pay for it right now. I don't have a lot of inventory to trade for. You know, in the future down the road, what are you looking for it, or what would you be interested in? So I keep an eye out, and then they never respond.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had that happen, kind of a reverse ghost, I believe, I guess. But and I've had cards for sale that somebody's reached out and they claim, but then you go the back and forth of they can't pay right now, then you don't hear from them for a while, then they come back.
Oh, that's the worst.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the worst. I mean, people get booted from groups for that sort of stuff. If you claim and you don't follow through, like, don't type claim. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
so, you know, if you can't pay for it, yeah, it's difficult. You know, because there's if I were to buy everything I saw that I wanted, I think I'd be
Oh God.
in a cardboard box by now.
Mm-hmm.
There's
So
no doubt about it.
I get it. You know, you're seeing the group feeds, you're seeing the eBay listings, you're seeing the whatnots, the Discords, the IGs. You know, oh, there's that. Oh, there's that. Oh, I want that one. Oh, I don't know. Now, which one do I get? Oh no, that one's suddenly sold. Quick, I better buy that one. You know, you get a little bit like a three-legged dog in a forest.
Yeah. I love sales posts because I'm that sick in the mind where I just want to see more cards. A lot of times somebody puts the sales post out there. There's a few cards that they had never talked about that maybe you haven't seen in a while. And bang, there you go. It's more scrolling through more cards, more content. So, you know, I just go on and just search through the post and just, you know, kind of see what everybody's doing. And you don't have to. I know I feel the same way. There are times where you want them all. You want to go in and because you know they go to a great home.
I know. I mean, your self-restraint is admirable. I mean, I'm speaking to a man who's literally living in a trailer right now. So
yeah, right.
Maybe you have been overspending and didn't tell us about it. But the it's very interesting actually seeing more physical posts of late because it's starting to ease off with the volume of e-pack posts. There's more physical sales posts popping up. ComC sales is another one I'm seeing people posting. So it's kind of like because there's no, you know, the amount of e-pack stuff there will now start slowly dwindle. But I've seen some people putting up some bangers from earlier sets. I mean, you must have seen it, Josh. There's been some original art. Some
God, that's been that's where it gets real tough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I just love Marvel masterpieces, and some of these posts they trigger you.
You. I'm sure.
But you have to just pick and choose the small ones you can have character collect a little bit, and and then just enjoy what people have and what they're selling and what's moving.
Yeah. I should mention Pete, moderator of the fine MCCW community. It's Show Off Sunday today. So today, no sales posts. Go and show some cool shit. So by virtue of doing this podcast, there will be some cool shit shown. So hang out, folks. Don't go anywhere.
No stay tuned.
No flipping, as Larry Sanders used to say. Anyone else used to watch the Larry Sanders show?
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, I remember it, but I think I don't think we had HBO, and I was like in high school or middle school when that was on.
Yeah, it was so good. It was ahead of its time. I mean, Gary Shandling, he's passed away now, actually, playing Larry Sanders and a talk show host, and it was all the stuff that went on behind the scenes. So you had like cameos from all sorts of people. The Larry Sanders Show, Pete, not the Who, they're a pop group. The Larry Sanders Show is definitely worth getting. I've got them all on DVD. I just bought the box set, and me and the wife have watched them through twice now, and they're hilarious. They're really good. But anyway, he does this thing, no flipping when he goes to commercial. It does that. So that was a really long way of explaining something that neither of you understood.
Yeah.
You got there though.
We got there. We got there. So anyway, Grizz, thank you for bringing that ghosting thing to
Yeah, it was a good
wider
post.
attention. I think it was worth posting. I don't know if any of you guys in chat have experienced that, but it happens. Some people, for me, it's the claim and not buy. There was a guy in group recently who was selling a chunk of Masterpieces 92, the original set. Joe Driscoll signed an awful lot of those for Dynamic Forces. So there are Dynamic Forces CRAs out there, and I think there's 5,000. I don't know if it's 5,000 of each card or 5,000 in total, but even if it was 5,000 of each card, that's 50 of each character that's out there, signed with a CRA. And some guy was selling loads of them, and I think a few people went in and claimed them, and subsequently, at least one of them, I don't think ever paid. And he claimed hundreds of dollars worth of cards. So in the meantime, no one else has bought them because it's showing that they've been claimed.
Yep.
And he's lost a sale. I just think it's it's outrageous. People do that.
It takes the juice out of the post because everybody's under the assumption that person who claimed it is going to make the sale, because that's what goes on 98% of the time. Let's hopefully higher, but
more than that, yeah.
And so that everyone else, that's the general consensus. So then you have to go back into the post and try to create the awareness of, hey, this deal went, south.
Or you've got to repost it, and it's never as fresh. Yeah, you never get a second chance to make a first impression on something that
exactly. That's the main
rare.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, because those are exceptionally tough to pick up. I mean, they really are. I've never actually seen a Black Cat one. I know they're out there because they signed them, but so it's a tough one, right? I'm going to segue because I'm jonesing to show stuff, and Mike did a couple of excellent blog pieces. Now, Mike, I don't have the ability to do something because I'm using my phone and my keyboard's over there, but if you want to drop the link to your blog in comments, now would be a good time. So Mike MacLeod does a really cool blog, and he's done a couple of posts that I read recently. Well, one because he shared it recently in group, and it caused me to go back and read his earlier one. So the most recent one was about metal cards, so cards made of metal. Not Ian Fisher's show, that's Cards of Metal, but shout out to Ian Fisher. He did a previous blog post last year that I loved about printing plates, also made of metal, but a different thing. So, which do you want to do first? Kids, do you want to do cards made of metal or printing plates? Because I've got stuff to show.
Awesome. Well, let's do... Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
No, I'll let Josh decide.
All right, I'm going with printing plates first.
Printing plates first.
Yes,
right.
Sir.
Card Cam is about to enter the chat now. Not quite yet. Now, printing plates are a wonderful aspect of collecting, in my opinion. A lot of people now, printing plates are a little bit Marmite. Actually, no, not quite as binary as that. When I say that, it's like you either love it or hate it. Okay. So Marmite. If you're English, you'll know what I mean. If you're not, tough.
Yeah, I was having a tough time with that one.
Yeah. Let me think. What Vegemite is Australian. I don't know if you guys have anything similar in the US, but it's kind of like a savoury yeast extract, really salty, and you spread it on toast.
Okay.
I mean, I love it. But
I'm hoping stuff like this is gonna bring more of it, rather people being on them or not. Because I think a little more exposure.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people that when you explain what a printing plate is to them are still like, okay, I had no idea. So
the interesting thing is I'm in a couple of different groups on Facebook. One of them called Non-Sports Nonsense, and another one Pop Culture, and there's a few others as well. And I saw someone make reference to something the other day, and they said, "Oh, they're a bit of a novelty, or they're a manufactured hit." I've seen that said about them as well. So, and I guess there is that spectrum. Now, for those people, I'm like, you know what? If you're not into them, absolutely fine by me, because there's plenty of other people that are into them. So,
yeah,
printing plates when they're put. So, I can certainly say this with regards to Upper Deck products, and I'm pretty sure it's true for the other companies as well. Some people say that printing plates are not actually used in the production of cards. This is not true. Certainly not for Upper Deck. They are not in every set that Upper Deck put out. And the reasons for that are quite simply that it wasn't ever factored in to be part of the set, or most likely Upper Deck didn't tell the vendor to retain the printing plates and the sheets that
as
we
Jason
used.
explained to us,
and they get trashed. So unless they're specifically like, no, we want you to keep those. Blake Marino's in the house. Blake, good morning to you, sir. We're just starting to talk printing plates, Jake. Blake. Wow. Speaking of which, where is Jake? He'll show his face soon. Now I've said his name.
Yeah, you said his name.
Yeah. But printing plates are you now? I've seen people who are quite vocal in the hobby and quite experienced in the hobby, who still do the whole tinfoil hat thing and say, "Oh, I don't think they're actually. I think they're produced specially for the thing," and it's like, no. And I one particular person who I no longer engage with at all in social media. I think it's just does it to troll half the time.
Sure.
So
you can see in the printing process on some of the plates, you can see the random disturbances and on the printing lines, and when you start to look into printing processes and how when you maybe make a few cards yourself, you start making multiple sheets, even a very high-end printer will have a disturbance line in between.
Exactly.
and so you can see these things on there. They're like you say, from Upper Deck. Maybe there has been a set where they were mocked or something like that, mocked up before, but to my knowledge, I think
not that I'm aware of. Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I mean, Upper Deck are pretty much very. I've spoken to a number of people there. I was actually working on. I'd requested that we get someone from the more production side, including possibly someone at one of their vendors, to come on and actually talk a bit more about it from an actual, this is a professional who's used to printing cards. He'll tell you how it works kind of vibe. Yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. They lost the Marvel license, so it was obviously not something of relevance for them. I'd still like to put out, though, if anyone from Upper Deck's listening, I'd love to talk about them. Doesn't have to be through a Marvel lens. Yeah, feel free to come on Friday night, Saturday morning with myself and Amanda, who many of you will know. Shout out to Amanda, who is at the Toronto Sports Card Expo at the moment with a lot of the team from Upper Deck.
But I've never heard the I don't know if you call it a conspiracy theory that plates are just put in and not used as part of the process. I haven't heard that one before.
Lots of people think that. In fact, I've got a post at the moment that I'm looking at, and it was on the non-sports card group, and here we go. One bloke said, the card companies call them printing plates, but I do believe they replicate printing plates, but were not actually used in the production. Sort the difference between an authentic jersey that is clean versus a game-used jersey which is worn and shows flaws. So that's my speculation. I think it's worth saying that person had the most replies of anyone on this post saying, nope, that's not true, including myself. So there are two different ways that you can print. Now, I think this is important to mention. You either the ink onto the plate, which will be on a roller, and then directly onto the paper or the whatever the material being used. Okay.
Impact.
And when that's happened, the image will be reversed. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or ink onto plate, onto roller, onto paper. And those plates aren't reversed, because a lot of people see the ones that aren't reversed and say, well, no, that's a manufactured hit, and so that's where that comes from. It's the not understanding the process, because if they're, if they look the right way around, then it doesn't mean to say they're not actually used in the production process. Just the production of those cards was different in some ways. There's two ways. There's and effectively speaking, I think the best way to kind of demarcate it is anything involving a slightly different type of material or substrate in the card, like chromium stock. They will be reversed, simply because of the nature of doing it. But and some of them aren't worth very much. Some of them are worth a lot, and a lot of that is completely character dependent. It's also very much color dependent as well.
Yes.
And some of them may be of a card that in and of itself isn't that good in the first place, like a nighttime movie scene without any actors in it from one of the MCU or Disney Plus sets. And some of those you look at and you're like,
not the play you want.
But if you're a character collector and you see a printing plate like one of the ones I'm about to show you, when I get card cam going on, if you're a character collector and you see that pop up,
beautiful.
That is
that one is beautiful.
Perfect.
You realize you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, they are stunning. Now, what they do is they cut them out, and then they obviously have to file down the edges to make it so that you're not going to get any spurs, or so they're all slightly rounded. They're all there. But even so, these are pretty thin. I mean, you could get some of the edges of some of them are a little bit. You could open your envelope with them. Now that's quite a clean one. There's no ink splodges or marks on it to speak of. I do have I should mention I have over 70 Black Cat printing plates, so I didn't have time to bring in all of them or look at all of them to tell whether or not there were any kind of with print lines and stuff. I mean, you'll see on this one that that corner's just a little bit.
They have impact corners where you see where it was like close to the housing that holds them stable.
Or when it was cut.
Right.
When this was cut, it might not have been filed down so well on that corner. They get punched out to be back inserted.
I've pulled printing plates that have a tiny little in the bottom corner of one side. Have a tiny little pin, not hole, but where you can tell that there is a clamp that holds the sheet.
Yeah.
And so you just happen to get that plate that was cut out of the back corner, top left, top right, top. But that one is clean on both spectrums. It's the
when they're labeled properly, it will tell you what the color is, and it will tell you what the card is. The problem with this particular set is that there's 3 different variants of the card that have printing plates. So there are effectively 3 parallels that have 4 printing plates for each. So I kind of have to guess which one this is for, because I've seen other black printing plates of Black Cat out there, and they look different to this. So you've then got to try and think, okay, well, which one's that? And usually you can tell, because in this case the cats in the background weren't there on that black one, which meant that it was one of the ones that has like a foil effect around there, so there's not actually printing of a cat, a black cat going on there. But sometimes Upper Deck don't always, bless them, or the vendors rather, don't always get this right. Now this is how this card was presented. This is how the painting is. She's upside down because she's hanging from a ceiling. Okay. Sometimes people don't recognize that.
Right.
And so, of course, they've looked at it and thought, oh, yeah, okay, that's the way she is. Let's put that on.
Yeah.
So sometimes stuff happens. It's just the way it goes.
But both these are examples of very clean plates.
Yeah. You'll notice on here that they haven't said which color it is. So sometimes you're left to guesswork. And as Mike. Yeah, the annual sets didn't often label parallels on the plate. It's a pain to keep track of them. Sometimes it really can be as well. Now let's have a look here. What we got now? This is an example. This is an example of the reverse printing. So that's platinum, which of course is a chrome-based set. So hence, everything is in reverse.
Okay.
Very much a mirror image.
Yeah.
So that's an example of that, and that again, that's a clean. That's a very.
Yeah, that looks. That's a real good-looking one.
I meant to pull out some. I wish I'd pulled out some that've got a little bit of a
rough, yeah,
few battle scars, but unfortunately, I don't know.
Because that really reinforces the flawed plates. Really reinforce.
Yeah.
You can see the printing process. You can visualize the
exactly. And in fact, I wish I'd pulled out some flawed ones now. I'm almost half tempted to bend it in half just to prove my point.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. Some colors
I didn't know you had.
Really
I didn't know you had this one.
Yes, I think I have 2, maybe 3.
Jeez.
This one. But yeah, no, this is the first one I got actually. And you can actually just see a print line just there going up,
which I like.
Yeah, and you'll get that, especially when it's gone through a roller. And in fact, this one does have a few little. I mean, you can see the surface of it. It's got a few marks on it.
Yeah, but it's great how strong the trim and the border of the card came through on this.
Oh yeah. And you can see some roll marks on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and there is a school of thought about printing plates. You can see it's got a slight bend in it as well. There, look. There is a school of thought with printing plates where people, some people grade them, and personally, I genuinely don't see the point. For me, they're like sketch cards. It's like I get it if you want to protect it, but grading something that will, by virtue of what it is and its mere existence, have imperfections.
Yes,
just seems a little odd to me.
Right, and it's a one of one in its respective nature. Whether it's your black, your cyan, your magenta. It's used in the production of and has touched every card that's been produced.
That said, I did buy one recently off eBay that I was very, very happy to get and win. And someone did grade it. Now, I will be cracking this because I don't care for the grading company or having graded printing plates.
Right.
But I'm exceptionally happy to have one of these medallion ones.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Now, this is the thing. The reason I brought this in is this proves a point. There are usually 4 colors with printing plates. There's cyan, or cyan as a lot of people pronounce, but cyan is correct, trust me. There is black, there is yellow, and there is magenta. Okay. This one is a yellow plate. Now, yellow plates often don't work very well for whatever reason. But for Black Cat, they often work quite well because I don't completely understand the science, but for a yellow plate, you do need to print quite a yellow to have. Yeah. No, I'm cracking it. It might be super hard to get a 10 on a plate, but I reject the premise of even trying to in the first place. So yeah, no, I'm cracking this. There's absolutely no way I'll keep this. You could pay me $2,000 and I wouldn't keep it graded. Because I don't want it graded. And if I did want it graded, I have PSA.
Yeah, and just keep the tag. Keep the tag if you can, and not destroy it when you crack it open.
Oh no! I've got a little drawer full of tags from stuff I've cracked over the last year.
Yeah.
When I go to the National, I'm going to take it to the respective booths of the companies that and say, "Yeah, take these off your sensors." I'm actually going to do that, by the way. You're looking at me like, "What are you on about?" No, but I'm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah,
that's
this
a really
one's getting
nice
cracked.
plate.
This one's getting cracked.
That is a really nice one.
I don't keep my plates cracked. They go in the binder. And I'll show you why in a moment. In fact, I'll show you why right now. Why waste time? That is why I don't
Right.
Haven't graded.
That's awesome.
That's one of my 4 plate sets, and you can see, obviously, if you pulled just that bottom one, you might be like, it's okay, it's not too bad. I mean, this artwork actually works quite well in all 4 colors.
Mhm.
That one you'd be very happy with if you pulled it. I mean, I'd be happy if I pulled all of them.
This is one of the best
kind of
ways
work.
to present plates this way. Is one of the best ways to see in the alternate version stacked like this. You can get an idea of the difference in the plates.
Yeah,
and how they respectively look.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing is with this card is that there were only 2 versions of it. There was the base card, and there was the color spiral. Right. So I simply got 4 base to fill it out, because I wanted to present it that way. So these corner ones are actually the same.
Okay, they're not the purple or blue
no.
or.
But Marvel Annual 2018-19 is just no, because this is from the High series, the SP.
That's right. Okay.
And they didn't have the blue and purple parallels of those. Nor did they have the Pack Wars reds. So yeah,
I like
it just worked really well. So
yeah. And I think it's important to mention if you're looking for a plate in a card you love, search the different versions. Don't stop at one you see that looks washed. That might not be.
Yeah.
You can mess around with them, and there might be 1 or 2 out of the 4 or 3, depending on that come through a lot better for you.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, in some cases, I'll just go for a single plate if it's not a PC character like this. I'll just go for a single plate to go with the rest. I won't need to own all 4 plates.
Right. Yeah, you got a disease.
Yeah, I do have a disease. I'm going to show one more. I think Jason's got some.
I share it with you. So. Oh wow!
So again, I think
man,
I've upside down. No, I haven't. That is upside down. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Hang on. Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. I believe. And yet, once again, the label's on the wrong way around. But that's great. It's got all the information you need on there. Yellow, but yellow just works really well with this particular character. So
yeah, it even shows the difference in the background too.
But when you get, I was going to say Fleer throwbacks, that recent 59 to 62 set, some of the plates in that,
I was going to say,
were an absolute shocker. I mean, I don't have an example to show.
And weren't those achievements?
No.
Okay.
People were pulling them, I think. So yeah. Right, Jason, I know you've got plates to show. I want to see some of yours.
I do. So
but you're in the middle.
I love plates, and I use them. I usually go for, like, if I'm doing a rainbow, I try to get at least 1 plate to go for that rainbow. I don't kill myself trying to get like 4. No, I've done it once. But
Never again.
Actually, when I was getting into collecting cards again, when a friend of mine that some folks may know, Stephen Bagley, was talking about it, he brought up printing plates, and the idea of printing plates really kind of pushed me into collecting again, because 12-year-old Jason would have loved to have pulled something that was part of the card process.
Absolutely.
So I've shown this before, but this is probably my favorite.
Oh, that's amazing.
Printing plate. Spider-Man 2099 from Fleer Ultra Spider-Man.
The Fleer Ultra Spider-Man plates are exceptionally nice and tough to get these days.
Yeah, but this is...
Oh boy.
That's amazing.
I would like to eventually get the rest of those, because that's like my favorite card of all time.
Wow.
I mean, I guess really the art is like my, I love that art, the Blade Runner kind of style of that painting. So I'm going to take it out, but just to show you, this is from Spider-Man Homecoming. This is
looks nice.
Rainbow. And so I got this plate for like $17, and I haven't been able to find any more plates from from this card. This is the only one I've ever come across, but it's a battle with the Shocker.
Nice.
And you can see here there's some stuff, but anyway, that's
nice.
So yeah, I usually
Really
do
nice.
it for rainbows. I've got one that I pulled from a physical box just to show that not all plates are winners.
Not all plates are created equal. Yes.
So that is from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Speaking of a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So, which one's this? Quantum Energy. But
okay,
it was fun to pull.
Yeah.
But, you know, out of a box. And actually, it's nice little the base cards are pretty nice on that set. But this yeah, that was that. I don't have any Black Cat. Let's see. And most of mine, I was looking, most of mine are pretty clean. I don't have too many with flaws.
That's beautiful.
So that's my 4-card set.
Yeah.
And then
really nice.
I'll show the last one is kind of a fun one that I won. I won one of them in Pack Wars, and I liked the art, and so I ended up getting another one in a trade. And I may eventually get all 4, but from 2019-2020 Marvel Annual Hippo.
Oh, yes.
And this is the variant cover printing plates. So I really don't have to get the others. I could get the other 2 plates and have a full rainbow of that.
Nice.
Yeah. But this the black and blue on these are really well, it's a little faded there, but
no, it's nice.
The black and blue really work, or cyan, I'm sorry, really work on that on that card. And I mean, I don't know anything about Hippo, but he looks kind of cool. And I've been lucky with the yellow plates, because I know sometimes yellow is not everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
But here's
oh, that is nice.
Madam Hydra.
Very nice.
So that one just
nice. Nice little rainbow going on there.
Yeah, and I got the sketch was on ComC, and that's kind of what started me down this one.
Yeah.
And it actually is a pretty good compliment. I mean, she's not in exactly the same pose, but
it works though.
Yeah. So
no, I dig it. That's good. Yeah, indeed. James.
People forget that these are 100 base combined with reds.
Really tough.
Yeah.
Really tough. Yeah, now that's an interesting point actually. I'll come back to that in just one sec. Let me put us back there. The couple of facts now for you. Let me blow your brains out. So recently it was someone asked about the first set the printing plates were in, and I was pretty certain I would have quite happily had a Pistols at Dawn fight over it, but it was either Avengers Kree Skrull War from Upper Deck or Marvel Beginnings Volume 1 Series 1. Keith Boyle dives into his archives and goes, hold my beer. And actually comes out with the dates, the release dates of all of these, because they're all physicals. This is pre-pack by a good 5 years. The first Marvel trading card set to have printing plates inserted in it was Thor the movie. The original.
What?
The MCU set.
Wow.
And it was released on the 23rd of March 2011.
Wow.
And then it was Marvel Beginnings Series 1, released on the 11th of May 2011. Then it was Captain America the First Avenger, so the set that went with that movie, on the 22nd of June 2011. And then Avengers Kree-Skrull War on the 3rd of August 2011. And I know that I, for the longest time, thought it was Avengers Kree-Skrull War and may have said that on content. But them's the facts. Those are the actual release dates for each of those products. So, yeah, Thor the movie was the first Marvel product with printing plates in. I don't know when printing plates started as a thing within trading cards, full stop. I'm not sure about that. However, I can tell you, because someone just brought it up in the chat, that yes, Thor the movie, the first one, Kenneth Branagh directed. I can tell you that the first Marvel set to do all 4 printing plates coming together rather than be separate within the product was Marvel Anime. And they didn't come in a booklet. That came later. Marvel Anime was you got the 4 plates in one go, but they were
in a pack,
individually loose. Well, no, it was an e-pack. It was an e-pack achievement.
Right.
So, and I've said this before, and I still hold to it. I don't like it when they do that. I think it makes it difficult for more than one collector to have a piece of that, that foursome in their collection. Yeah, Marvel Anime, James.
I don't believe they're part of a set. They should be out individually.
They should be out individually. And it is, and Alan's right. They are more satisfying when you collect them organically. That said, as a collector, when I was able to obtain that 4-plate set from Anime, I was overjoyed because I had all 4 of them in one go. But it does mean that I couldn't, I can't have 2, and Wesley, for example, couldn't have 2. If we both came to them from different avenues and angles. So it is. I get it. I get it from both ends. What I'm not keen on is I haven't had one in hand yet, but I'm not massively keen when they put them in booklets.
Yeah,
not at all.
I haven't seen one in hand, but
mainly because it leans into my storing them, the way I do, kind of thing. A
lot of people have different ways they want to present them and put them in little displays and other stuff like that. And for character collectors, you get so few cracks at a printing plate, and it's really nice to have one in one of your PC characters. Yeah. And if you chase a set that's not a premier set or a highline set, you go with one of the ones that it's not as popular. You can catch an annual or a printing plate from one of these beginner level sets. I won't and get it for a decent price. And it's just nice to have. It can be kind of like one of your top pieces of your collection, and so I like for those to be out there amongst the masses. Is if you've got one in a card, I think that's probably good.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who goes for plates of the character I collect and has done since 2011, I was straight on it. I mean, Marvel Beginnings 2011, I own all 4 plates from that card.
Yeah.
But people, that was at a point where I was collecting the character. It was all via eBay. I was lucky. And also people really hadn't cottoned on to them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I was.
They weren't really, I think, so I was just able to do that. But I will say, for me, having one is lovely because it just feels like, okay, you've got one to go in that rainbow. Having 2 is also lovely because it's like you've got half of them, and it kind of feels like, okay, you've got 50% of the plates. It kind of feels like a good thing. Having 3 is annoying because it feels you're not quite. It feels like maybe I just want that last one. Not quite there. So it's. I've got a number of printing plate sets from a character where I've got 3 of them. And it's just like the most so close. But in some cases, it actually works quite well in the 9-page, especially if there's 6 different versions of the card. So from that point of view, that's how you get your head around it. But no, I mean the other thing, I'm a big printing plate fan. I recently did something I never thought I'd do. I say recently, within the last 2 weeks, I sold a set of 4. Because I had a bit of credit card bill to clear, and I had last year when I was a bit more flush, I'd managed to get all 4 plates from Unbound of Black Cat.
Ooh.
So I had all the Unbound set, and that's difficult because yes, they're released as separate plates, but all of them drop onto market at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like having a 4 plate. Yeah, it's Unbound. And I had them for a year, and I hadn't had them shipped home. And I sold them for what I paid for them, which was 500 each. It was two grand. And funnily enough, one guy pulled 2 of them in 6 packs, and he'd sold me his 2. He's the one that bought all 4 off me. So, and I had them shipped to him from ComC. And he's just literally about 10 hours ago posted them on his Instagram, and I saw them and I was like, oh,
I wish yeah.
But it's like one of those. So it feels really. I'm still not sure. I mean, I had to do it, because I've got to be a mature, responsible adult about my own finances, and I have overspent this year so far because of all the product dump onto the market, and because I'm also a weak person in that regard. I want to. It goes back to the wanting to acquire more than you can afford. When that balance tips a bit, and you start, a bit of PayPal credit, that'd be fine. I'll stick a bit.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So, I have to pull myself back a bit. So you're pleased to know I've cleared my PayPal credit balance and asked them to close my PayPal credit account.
Nice.
Okay,
I've still got some Barclaycard to clear.
So we're making steps here towards.
So we are making steps. We are making steps. I feel like we're in some sort of AA meeting here. But, but no, I think it's important to recognise that, much as it's lovely and a blessing to be able to afford one of these, let alone 2 or 3 or 4, there comes a point where you've just got to be a bit of a grown up about it and say, okay, I've got to stop spending all this money. And if you want to keep all that stuff, you're going to have to sell something else. So that was a bit weird. That's the first time I've ever done that.
Right.
And that was one of the better. That Black Cat was one of the better pieces from that set of Unbound.
I mean, it's original art. I mean, what's the expression? Real talk. I hate it when people say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Real talk. It is nicer, I think, to own. What am I trying to say? It's for a lot of people, the original art sets are the ones that are more sought after. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones that tend to fetch a little bit more revenue.
As they should.
Yeah.
That said, I go hard for the annual plates because, I love them. But there is a pecking order. Some people just don't don't get their heads around that. Right, I'm just going to share screen and show this post because it is just. You want to see these plates that I sold? I'm going to show them to you.
Yeah.
Their new owner. I showed them off on Instagram, so they are in public domain. So I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this because I'm going to. There they are.
Oh,
look at those.
That's amazing.
But the thing is, I know they're all together still. So he pulled 2 of them.
Yeah.
I acquired 3 and 4, and so I made the set, if you like, and then I've sold them as the set, and I'm pretty confident this collector will keep them as the set. And who knows? Maybe somewhere down the road, they'll come back my way.
Have you seen the one touches that are like set up that look like they're set up for these? They're connected. They're all one piece. No. It's got dividers. But there's one piece, and it lifts up, and you can set the plates in. And I've seen them in 3, I've seen them in 4, I've seen them in 2. I'll take a look and I'll send you a link. But they look awesome.
Send me the link. Send me the link.
It has to be tailor made for. I know it started for puzzle cards. They created these for like linear puzzle cards, and they even have ones now that are a 6-rack. Top and bottom. That's a one-touch magnetic that'll open up. You can fit a 6 or I haven't seen it in a 9 block yet.
Oh right, okay. You need to send me links to this stuff because I've got from Marvel. I want to say Ages. or 80th, no 80th, I think it was. They did an EPAC achievement for different elements of the set, and this was one of the first and one of the only EPAC achievements I actually managed to do in the time I was I was there. Where you got 6 cards, and that each one of them had a letter from the word Marvel with characters around it. So you put them together and it reads Marvel, obviously, but it's a nightmare in a binder.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons. You know, you can't do it. MAR Neuro VEL. You know, I would love to have that in something like you've just described, all as one long thing, and I could put them on one of these stands that people are talking about in chat. I love the fact that MacLeod goes, "Oh yeah, they're gorgeous printing plates, but look at the stands."
Yeah.
I love it. It's card porn, card storage, and stuff like that. This is why I'm really looking forward to going to the National and going to look at the BCW stand, because tariffs notwithstanding and how much it will cost them to import the things. I can't get, no, don't get, no disrespect to Jennifer Wu, who's now Ultra Pro. I've always used Ultra Pro product, and I will continue to use Ultra Pro Platinum pages. You don't have to be one or the other. You don't have to be Arthur or Martha. You can be both. So I have now become rather smitten on the top loaders that BCW do, especially for the thicker cards, and their one touches just have that tiny bit more room. So for 130 point card, Ultra Pro do 130 point top loaders. It's great. What if the card's just a little bit snug? BCW, 138 point. Honestly, it's smoother than an otter's pocket. It slides in perfectly.
Tiny little bit of extra cost worth everything.
Oh yeah. Never mind the quality, feel the width. And so they. I can't believe I went there. I'm really looking forward to it, because there are some I go nuts for those black diamond gemographies, and it has to be. I know, Jason, it's a dull subject when I talk.
No.
Were you up late, dear?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'll work on another spreadsheet. I'm just kidding.
Will we ever? No, please. You do your best spreadsheet work when you're slaughtered. Will we ever have a podcast where Jason went to bed the night before at 8 o'clock with a cup of hot cocoa and read until he fell asleep at 10? Will we ever have that? Do we?
No,
I don't think so.
No. Josh did last night.
Yeah.
But BCW, they do these one touches that just work for gemographies, the Ultra version. But because the cards just very slightly over, because Ultra don't allow any. There's no slight hair's breadth, just to allow if the card is slightly overcut.
Yeah.
So BCW have just saved it, but you can't get BCW stuff in the UK at all.
Okay.
I mean, very, very, very rarely will I see some, but you just can't get it much in Europe. Full stop. Ultra's all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. So I'll be coming back with a bag full of BCW products. Right. Because I'm excited about what we're talking about, I'm going to show you some metal cards. Now, I should stress that I'm not talking about that type of metal. I don't have the hair for that, for a start. Josh, you looked really amazed when I did that. You looked actually quite concerned.
Yeah, that's just,
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Make sure you're healthy.
Make sure I'm healthy. Well, yes, exactly. I think my neck might need some massaging after that. Right. I've got a whole stack of stuff to show you here, and it's really exciting. So I'm going to say, first of all, for those easily triggered, we are about to go slightly non-Marvel. Well, there's no slightly about. We're about to go non-Marvel. But that's okay, because I kind of want to walk you through a little bit. Now, metal cards have been around since the 90s. And I say that because it's true. Let me just grab something up here that I wish I'd grabbed beforehand. Right. Do you remember
my guess.
Metallic Impressions? These came in a tin. And there's an X-Men one up there behind me as well, which you'll see just over my... There it is. Just there. But this is the Spider-Man one, and these are absolutely gorgeous. They did these for Star Wars as well. and they all came with one of these certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
Set number 119. But look at it, limited edition of 12,000. Since when is 12,000 limited edition?
That's what it was back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not weird. I'm just limited edition as fuck.
What year is that? What year is this from?
This is from 96.
They were referencing everything then back to the comic book printout numbers.
Exactly. Yeah. So it comes with a rather nice little. Let me just lift the. And there they are.
Yep.
All nicely within there.
Nice.
This particular set is gorgeous. Let me just pull out, and it's just pull out the black cat.
Oh, that's
black cat.
Yeah.
And look at the quality on it, and it's in you've got relief on there as well, and you can see on the back double-sided printing, and it's good quality, like rich colors.
Do you feel an edge from the metal to where the card?
No, because it's a rounded kind of thing, so you can see that's inset in that.
I see it now. It's relieved. Yep.
Yeah. They are really nice, really nice. They just look at. You can see the web. They're absolutely stunning cards. So metal cards aren't a new thing. They've been around for a while. But there was this company, Metallic Impressions, or that's the brand anyway. But this set is original art. It's some of this is there's your boy Scarlet Spider. No, hang on, that's more Wesley's boy, isn't it?
Yeah, I like him too, but yeah, that's Wesley's.
Yeah. But there's some a lot of original art. I think John Romita Jr. Some of the other artists of the time.
Yeah, I've heard of these and seen them. I may have to track some down.
There are 12,000 of them out there. They are nice. I'm not going to show you them all.
2099 is probably in that set.
Probably
because of the
I'll
timing.
have a look through later and see if I can figure it out.
Very popular.
But they display well. I mean, the tins get a little bit rusty over time, unfortunately. But yeah, no, these are nice, Mike. They're worth picking up. They really are. So yeah, they did. Here we go, John Romita and John Romita Jr.
Okay, well there you go.
That's the art.
But yeah, they did Spidey one. The X-Men one is up there. They also did some smaller sets with 4 and 6 cards in that are different. And they did loads of Star Wars ones as well.
And they're are they called Metallic Impressions?
Metallic Impressions is what you'll see when you come up with the search. I said we we're going to go non-Marvel because I actually pulled this out. So this is a promo, believe it or not, for the Star Wars Metallic Impressions from the first movie.
Ooh.
I say the first movie. Hey, it's Matthew. I want to say Matthew. There we go. Sorry, my brain just didn't connect there.
What's up?
So, and you can see on the back, this is a promotional sample. So it's the same company, but it's just they're really nice. They are worth tracking down. These promos are nice to have. Just as
that looks great. Yeah,
they display well, and it's a beautiful artwork as well. So we start there. Now, obviously, we're a Marvel podcast, so let's look at some of the Marvel ones. Now, I can't remember the first Upper Deck set that I saw metal cards in. It may well have been Metallurgy from Masterpieces 2020. I don't know that for sure, but this is the only Metallurgy I own from Masterpieces 2020. Now, these were hand numbered.
Yep.
I don't have the one from 2022 because I simply can't afford it. It's about $300-400, I think. But it is lovely. It's really nice.
I actually really enjoy the hand numbering. I know how some people feel about it. It's serial numbered. It was done by Upper Deck. It has a personal feel and touch to it. And now they're not hand done anymore. So it's like your only chance to get one like that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for hand numbering on things. I think it's just a nice touch to it. I think the first thing to say about these is that, and this is generally the form with the Upper Deck ones, is that the depth of the colour on them is extraordinary. It really is.
sublimation printing has really changed the way that they could add the image onto metal cards, the vibrancy from the first Impacts ones that you showed to that's an insert metal card. This here that's true sublimation printing, so beautiful. They can
there we go. Take a swig, Jason. There we go.
For honestly,
Jason and I
that's good.
had a little thing. We were going to say we need to take a swig when Josh is sublimation printing.
Oh, nice, nice.
We knew you were going to go there at some point.
Oh yeah, I went around the world.
I know. I love that you're into this stuff. But yeah, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah. So this was an ambitious parallel when they decided to take it on, but because it's Marvel Masterpieces, they said, all right, we're gonna do this with some class. We're gonna make this right. We're gonna make sure this isn't looked at as a cheap parallel or just a thing. They've increased it from 2020 to 2022 and so on. They've actually enhanced the sublimation to it. And the border style. So your trim and stuff, they've made that a little bit better. I love how they show on the front of the card that it's a true aluminum medium.
Yeah.
And so that's so nice. Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous.
I've never seen one that up close, man. Those are really nice.
They are really nice. I've just remembered, actually, there were some metal cards in Black Panther, and there were some metal cards in Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018. And I used to own them, so I can't believe I forgot. So in 2018, there was a set called Master of Magnetism, and it was a 15-card set based around Magneto. The irony there being that aluminium's not magnetic.
Oh,
of course. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think Black Panther might have been out the year before. There were definitely metal cards in Black Panther. I can't remember what they were called now. Anyway, so Upper Deck have been, done them a lot. Don't know.
I'm on the case.
Don't know. Yeah, they're called Wakandan something. Funnily enough, Vibranium didn't have metal cards. I don't believe. But yeah, no, that's lovely. So one of these days, we're going to have to do an episode on wooden cards.
Yep.
It won't be a long episode.
I have a few that are done with a pen that's had charged under the pen, and you can watch them almost exactly like a preliminary card.
Yeah.
And then they do the shading which is really incredible. They do the shading and stuff by using the burnt lines that they've created for the outline pulling that into the image. So some of them are just really, really beautiful. And it's a different, it's really different. The feel of the card in your hand is something different. That's for sure.
Now, I love these from the Metal Universe sets. They've been, they did them in X-Men, Planet Metal, the insert. They did them in X-Men. Now, these are the base ones that are unnumbered, but there are numbered ones that are kind of, I think, colored to represent different metals as well. And I think that changes slightly with each set. Nice.
Iridium.
Nice. I think I've still got about 3 or 4 of these to go. I've got some in hand and the rest are on ComC waiting to ship. But look at the depth of color on the back of this card.
So I've seen pictures and the EPAC scans or ComC scans, and I kind of just passed these by. But now looking at them, it's like, geez, what an idiot! I should, dang.
And it's really one of the first metal cards that they had alternate versions of the parallel. So you had your gold, your platinum, your copper, and they tried to coat. They're all aluminum, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe they are. Yeah.
The copper ones that are they're beautiful. It's a real nice different sheen and texture. However they coat the aluminum, and they just image jumps right off the metal.
It's so nice. I really love these.
Wow,
I love these.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start picking some of these up because I just kind of dismissed from what I saw. But man,
Now the one thing I will say, as I've got 2 from the same set here, don't stack them raw. They might be metal, they might be hard wearing, but they will scratch each other. So I took these out of a binder and I immediately sleeved them, knowing that they'd be on top of each other.
Yep.
Because they'll scratch. You know,
Right.
you'll end up with a scratch through the artwork there.
Mhm.
The other thing to say on them as well, that they're also very heavy. You know, they're quite chunky, but they're not indestructible.
Right.
No,
So,
no,
you know,
they're just close to it.
Do
You know,
you, Josh, do you have any of these from the Avengers set? Because it was the Planet Metal was all Iron Man related.
oh yeah,
You
yeah.
got
I had from I think my first ones. I thought I remember the Venom doing because I pulled the Venom out of myself, and then I went and chased the. I think it was the regular. So I went and got the platinum and the copper. But yeah, I loved it when they came out. They had a few different variants, had a few different metal looks, metal finishes, and the vibrancy on the cards were just amazing. And they really weren't kind of like printing plates. Not many folks were going after them. You could really get one of these Planet Metal cards. The Carnage one was amazing.
Yes.
And so it was a different, I believe the artwork on the Planet Metal cards is different than on the base.
Yes.
And so a lot of them were better than the base, the art for the base character. And so it became once you discovered you could pick up a few of them, you might get all three for what a Marvel Masterpiece Metallurgy would cost you.
Okay.
So the
sorry, come
on. The Black Panther set is what Wakandan vibranium.
That's it. That's it.
And they are stunning. They look good.
So the recent Disney Plus sets have leaned into this in a big way. This is an extraordinary design card. I love this so much. The problem with this one is that it's damaged. It has that scratching. Spot the scratch.
Oh yeah.
So this is where you got to be careful with them, because it really, I mean, it's So I've just spotted that actually, and it's been very carefully stored. So I think that might have been like that when I got it. But I'll pick up another one of these. But this is a beautiful design. Balance the scales. It's nicely done. And you can see at the back there, it's also got a spot at the bottom where it's been scratched. So once you lift the print off,
it'd be so easy to put another clear thin layer over the top of each side. The card's already an anvil. It's already in a way like an anchor. So to put a thin piece of substrate over the top just to protect it, because they are fragile.
Yeah, I mean they are lovely as well. I mean I think I've got most of the set now. Most of them are still on ComC waiting to ship home. But
that one's awesome.
I mean, look at the depth of color on it. It's brilliant that you can get like the movie images so sharp. That's what I like about it. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that was just across the top there.
Right.
So I think, and unfortunately, I think this is. I think some of these are just production issues, where they come out in the packs. They're just, they chink against each other, and that's it. Game over. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm overly fussy about them, but I'd like it if they didn't look quite so effed up straight out the pack.
Yeah.
They've done some. Sorry,
it can be difficult when they're putting the image onto the metal and they're electrifying it's like a giant iron or a waffle maker, and when you're doing like those movie quality still frame images, I'm shocked those are that good, because there's a real sweet spot in how long in the more vibrant colors that you're trying to achieve, on how long you have to let the image essentially burn itself onto the metal, and it gets real difficult. These ones here are, I mean, that's pretty sharp for
these are astonishing. A lot of people haven't seen these because it didn't come to EPAC.
No.
And of course, where it works, when they lend themselves to like the design from the show, because they had those tempad things that looked not too dissimilar to what you see here. It kind of works. and it's it just the style of it just really fits. Yeah, these are beautiful, these ones, but it didn't hit EPAC, so I've got loads still to find. It's a slow chase, that one, but quite frankly, everyone needs a metal card in their collection of Alligator Loki.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Absolutely. That's
how
cool.
good is that? How good is that?
Yeah, I'd want that
lovely.
just because.
Because Alligator Loki. I could go hard for that character. But then Upper Deck have started having fun with the format as well. Sorry, carry on.
I kind of like the Frog Thor. I can't. It's silly. It's silly. It doesn't make any sense to me. I have no idea about the backstory and probably never will learn it. But seeing that frog with the hammer and the cape and the wings on the helmet, it just cracks me up.
Yeah. Now, MacLeod will know about these because he talked about them in his blog piece. MacLeod, throw the link in comments.
Die cut.
Shang-Chi.
He had a bunch of those in his blog. Yeah.
Now, these are the base ones. These are kind of just plain aluminium silver. There are some black ones that were numbered to 25, and there's 6 of those, and they were achievement. You get them, and then you get autograph versions of them as well. And I think these are among the nicest things within the set. Honestly, they just look so good. And so if you're going to do a die cut,
they were able to cut that without there's no warping around the edges of those circles, and it's pretty darn good.
You wait till I get the black ones in hand. I've got 4 of the 6 so far, and I've got the difficult ones now. So
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, they're nice. So those are good. I've also got, if I put that back in there, I've also got one of these, and again, this didn't hit EPAC. She-Hulk.
Oh.
So, they play around with it a little bit. I'm less sold on this design.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a reach, but it's nice to see a, Smart Hulk metal card. Yeah. No, it's good. There we go. The blog is Derailments of Thought. So Google that.
I think it's Professor Hulk.
No, it's actually called Smart Hulk.
Is it really?
It actually says Smart Hulk.
That's very corny.
I know. I love it. I love it. Me Hulk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've started to put some of these in penny sleeves within the pages simply because I don't. Now I don't have one of these in hand, but they did one for Falkland Winter Soldier called Forged Vibranium, and it's shaped again. So on one side it's shaped like the shield edge, and the other side it's shaped like his metal arm. So yeah, they're pretty cool. But all of those are in my ComC shipping queue. Now, Upper Deck have also done quite a few cards with metal in them. They're not just, the whole thing isn't metal. I don't have an example to hand, but an example that crosses my mind is Strip Mine Metals from the Avengers Infinity War set. I'm not massively keen on them, but they are effectively like a film cell, but instead of where you've got the cell, you've got like an aluminium strip that's been printed on. They kind of don't really work.
Yeah, that's
really
not
work for me. So yeah, I decided not to collect those. I had a couple and I offloaded them. But I did say we were going to go off reservation and look at some Marvel again, as we already have. I'm going to show you something that's, frankly, it's quite extraordinary. Have you ever heard, and we're going to do an episode on these, of the Upper Deck employee exclusives? I'm getting nodding, which works really well on a visual.
Yes, I've heard of those. Yeah.
Okay, right. So Upper Deck do employee exclusive. This is ridiculously heavy. MacLeod, are you sat down, sir? I'm looking at the comments. Every now and again, they put out something that just flabbergasts me.
Oh, wow!
This is silver. It's really heavy.
That's
what
beautiful.
In the world? They chromed the finish is what they did.
No,
because there's flat
it's a
silver and
card.
there's
It's a silver card. It says on the back. Hang on.
Right, but silver can look rough like aluminum.
Oh
or it can look polished. So this is the first time
really
I've
difficult
ever
to read this. So basically, it's an employee exclusive. It said, "It's with great appreciation and gratitude that we present you with this employee exclusive card. Upper Deck has always partnered with the best in sports and entertainment. We are proud to present you with the employee exclusive 2 troy ounces of brilliant .999 fine silver X-Files trading card."
This is amazing.
And they go on. It's Upper Deck employee exclusive. It says just there at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to get. It's so nice. It's really heavy. I mean, I'd say it's heavier. It's as heavy as 4 of the other ones combined.
Oh, wow.
I got questions. When you flip it over, is the literature on the little character bio area correct?
Engraved.
Is it's engraved, so it's laser cut?
Yeah. I mean, I can feel the relief of it.
Oh, see now, I gotta get a laser cutter.
It's so nice. And this kind of cloudiness towards the edges is designed like that.
Yeah.
So they've kind of polished it out in the areas they want. Occasionally I have to give it, because silver, as anyone who's got, you can just kind of see it slightly on the edge. It's discolored. I need to get a silver cloth, and just because it oxidizes, which is
I
why
love
when
this
people talk about
polished
polishing the silver. It's literally they have to do it to get off the oxidization.
Because one of the difficult parts in the different planet metals and some of the other metal cards that have variants, where the
X-Files is also engraved.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. Look at it.
You tend not to like this iridium, this gold. You can barely tell that it's gold in color until you look at the other side. And so when you polish the surface like that, it's going to make the platinum, the copper, wow. More of them need to be done this way.
Oh, it says I saw it and I was like, and then last year I'd seen a couple of them pop up, and then I was seeing less and less and less, and then I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm going to snap one up while I've got a bit of money in my pocket. It was around the time I bought those printing plates, Black Cat Unbound.
Yeah, that is well done.
It's just lovely. It really is. Let's get it back. So I keep it in a one touch for obvious reasons, mainly because I don't, I wouldn't put it in a binder page because, quite frankly, it's so heavy it would just rip it down. So there's that one. I should also mention that other companies do metal cards as well. So Rittenhouse have been recently doing some Star Trek ones as toppers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not going to take it all the way out, but you can clearly see they've chosen to go for a kind of slightly burnished kind of image on that one. But it's really nice, and the detail on it is extraordinary. There's a case topper card. I think they did 2. There's a Best of Both Worlds one as well. So it's kind of got that shine effect as well, that foil.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a really nice card.
Cool.
And I've got this one, but I haven't taken it out of it, so I think I'll probably leave it in here. This is how it came. Again, it's a case topper from the card.
Oh,
that's cool.
I like that
metal as well. Yeah, that's beautiful.
But you see how that style of printing has it always tends to have a hue to it.
Yeah,
a color of like the cyan, magenta, because of the way the process is. So you can see those other movie cards, still shot movie cards you had of Loki and other stuff. You can see the difference between that style as opposed to, because your image just is so much brighter and stronger with the later of the two.
Now, it's not just the big car companies that are doing this. This is the regular promo for the Classic Mythology set from Perna Studios. Okay. Jury Chinchilla artwork, binder exclusive. Okay.
No rounded edges on a metal card is rare.
That's a cardboard card. That's the regular promo. That's not metal. This is the metal version of it.
There we are.
How nice is that? I mean, that artwork is lovely on its own. It comes to life. It's so vibrant. what Tony and Elaine are doing with their metal cards is, if you're not paying attention,
No, they're on top
seriously
of
pay
it.
attention.
Man,
They are absolutely stunning.
They're on top of it.
It's beautiful.
wow.
Binder metal card.
Because there's a happy medium where you let the color overwhelm the metal, but when you really get it dialed in like they have, you get the vibrancy of the color, and you also get the metallic finish underneath. When you turn it in the light like you are, you can see the reaction of the metal with the colors, and it just creates this iridescence that's beautiful.
It's just lovely. It's like
That's
a party.
amazing.
It's like a party for your eyeballs. I mean,
Holy
I can't.
cow.
It looks okay on camera. It's astonishing to the natural eye. It really is. There's a real vibrance, luminescence to it.
It takes so long to get that right.
Yeah, and they
really
do
does.
them for most of their sets. So do indulge me for a moment. I'm just going to show you some more from the Perna sets, because I'm always about giving Elaine and Tony a shout out where I can, because they're lovely people. Right. Oh, right. Here we go. Right. So regular cardboard promos, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The metal versions.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Just look at that. I mean, you can see you've got that middle one, especially. There's one at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. I'm going to take some of these out. Let me take some.
That one at
out.
the bottom is a banger.
Now this one, they have these
random.
They have these random pack inserted metal cards, and they'll be chase cards, and they'll just put them in there.
Yep.
I mean, look at that. Look at the colours on that.
It's really, really impressive.
Look at the colours on that. That's stunning. So yeah, Tony and Elaine Perna are just, I mean, it's quite a dark artwork, but look how vibrant that looks.
Yeah.
What creature is that? Miss. Okay, I have no idea.
Zanami, don't know. Looks like Jumanji to me. I just need to look at the one next to it, because this image always freaks me out slightly. I just love it.
Is that the Monkey King?
I don't know, but it's
hot. Yeah,
You see that background? It reminds me of a medallion.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. That's beautiful.
Mike Hartigan artwork. That's just lovely. So listen, I could be here all day and doing Perna stuff like this, but we probably haven't got all day. But they've done them for multiple sets with multiple effects and different things like that. Just want to see if we've got any others. No, I think the other binder's got more. Anyway, I'm going to finish off by cards with metal in them.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Lost?
Yes.
Best show of all time.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you'd see a trading card with a piece of the actual airplane from Lost in it?
Ooh.
Because
that is crazy.
That's got a rivet.
That is crazy.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Oh,
Inkworks.
man.
So Inkworks, when they were around, Prop Works, they used to call them.
I'd take some sand from the beach.
I've shown you the sand cards from Lost, haven't I?
No,
they actually. I didn't bring the binder.
You got to be kidding me!
I've got cards in the other room that have a clear acetate middle, and there is sand loose in it.
Like a caps. Oh, that's
awesome. There's a photo on the back of the actor getting a jar of sand from the beach in Hawaii.
Oh man, you just spent some of my money.
Have you not seen those?
No.
Wow, they're astonishing. They're really good. No,
like this right here is
incredible stuff.
Does it say what part of the plane it's supposed to be from? Or?
No, it just says it's an authentic piece of the crashed plane. Rittenhouse did one of these when they got the license for Lost towards the end. Theirs had a bigger piece within it, but the piece of plane said, "Hold my beer." Here's a piece of the plane with an autograph of the guy who played the pilot.
Oh wow! Also.
Oh man.
That's cool.
That is so
bonkers.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I love stuff like that. So I know it's tenuous, but it's metal in a card.
What is this one?
I was like, you know what? I've got an excuse to show them off. What's that? Sorry.
What does it say it's supposed to be again? What is it a piece of?
It's a piece of the aircraft, because they actually got a real aircraft and cut it up on a beach in the pilot. It's one of the most expensive pilots made at that time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a spectacle. For sure.
Yeah, they had Greg Grunberg. He was in Heroes and a lot of J.J. Abrams movies.
Oh, from the pilot episode. Now I get you. I was thinking pilot of the plane. I'm like, what?
Oh well, both. It's the pilot. He didn't actually appear in the pilot episode. Strangely enough, he was in like episode 7 or 8. They found him.
Right when they.
But look how thick it is.
Oh wow,
it's awesome.
Isn't it nuts? It's the most nuts thing.
Is so cool.
It really is. So yeah. So no, Josh. I'll get you some of the other lost cards I have, and I can show you them. I mean, I've got some Bond cards from Rittenhouse that have pieces of windshield in from Aston Martins and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and they are thick as fuck. They really are. But yeah, they're incredible. So there we go. There's a little overview of metal cards. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And thank you to Mike for the inspiration for this. I mean, Mike, it's so worth reading his blog on it, because he says it much more succinctly than me, and he shows off some really good examples.
Yeah, he had some stuff stuff I didn't know about. And can I just say, metal chair cards for wrestling?
Yes,
a brilliant idea. And that I just saw that. I need to see some of those.
Yeah, I know.
Chairs and ladders.
I should have sent Mike. I should have sent you a link and they'd come on and join us. But you're probably in your Chewies, just sat on your deck having a coffee. Next time. Yeah. I mean, this is the wonderful thing. You know, this is I'm really sad Wesley wasn't here to see some of these, because I think Wesley's mind would have leaked out of his ear by now. I mean, that one for me is the. It's the killer. I mean, they're just so nice. They really are so nice.
Wasn't there some silver cards in the James Bond set? Were they similar to this, or was it the 2019 James Bond? Wasn't there some kind of silver card insert?
Not that I remember. Not a metal one, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think an honorable mention of the 92 ones they did with the brass for the Spider-Man, the Hulk, and the Psylocke.
You're talking about the FPG Kickstarter.
Engraved.
Yeah.
Engraved to depth. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. Because Mike showed one of those on his blog post. I mean, those are really heavy. They're heavier than the Inkworks one, and that
because when you're gonna engrave the image down at depth, the plates have to be quite substantial.
Yeah. No, those are a proper wedge. They are.
Mm-hmm.
They're the kind of thing that you'd bash someone over the head if they're broken at 3 a.m. That's that kind of thing. Oh, hang on, I've lost card cam. There we go. There we go. We're back
into a bullet,
and we're back. You could literally melt them down and make some horseshoes. Just randomly off the top of my head, I'm thinking, let's make some horseshoes. But yeah, so in printing plates, like I said, printing plates are Marmite, metal cards are Marmite. You know, obviously they're there to add value to a product. Whether you like them or not is kind of, it's subjective at the end of the day. Some people don't dig printing plates. Some people like the metal cards. Some people vice versa. Some people don't like either. There's plenty for everyone. Is what I always say. I think we should do something like this again, but like focus on like holograms, and then maybe focus on lenticular cards. And then maybe like cell cards, be it film cells or other kind of clear see-through acetate.
Manufactured patches.
Manufactured, yes. Oh my goody aunt, yeah.
Comic cuts.
There's loads. Yeah, comic cuts. Comic cuts. They're the hot thing at the moment. So yeah, I just wish I had some to sell, but I don't. Good. Any more for any more? Anyone got any stunning revelations? No. No, we're stunning
No.
Revelation down. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Thank you, Mike, for the inspiration. Thank you, everyone in chat. And until we'll probably be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, we're kind of every fortnight now at the moment. Anyway, so I think it's going to be 2 weeks. I think. I'm trying to think what my. Sorry, hang on. Let me just turn card cam off. Let me have a look at my calendar. Let me check my diary. I can't believe I'm doing this live on air. This is exciting for you to watch, isn't it? Yeah, we should be cool for 2 weeks. We should be cool for the 11th of May. Unfortunately, much as I'd love to do May the 4th, we're not a podcast that talks about Star Wars, even though we talked about Star Wars on this episode. And B, my wife is running a 50-kilometer race that weekend. So that's not happening. But yeah. All right, guys. Jason, I'm going to pick on Jason today to sign us off. Thank you, guys, for jumping on. And Jason, take it away.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching and enjoy collecting.